Everybody, and welcome to show number 135 of the Jimmy Palumbo. I can't believe I've done 135 of these things. It is a perfect day here to do the Jimmy Palumbo show. I am not shaven. I look like I'm homeless here from the Omni. And of course, this is show number 135. That's right. I am here behind the glass with Dave Sturcio, who's all smiles, working from home today, a little under the weather. Why? Because his beloved Cowboys eked by a game yesterday. We're going to get more into that as we go along. Dave, how are you today?
I'm good, man. The world, the gods have blessed me with a nice little head cold. It's what happens when you have these kids just boogers all over you the entire time, and I
fully understand that.
I thought for sure, and it's funny because you think you're in the clear, right? I'm like, wow, they were booger heavy for 3 days, and they were all over me. I'm like, I made it. This is great. And it's I woke up, I was like, damn it.
Here we go. That's
here we go. But yeah, I'm good to go. I just
starts with it. Always starts with an onside kick.
Yeah, exactly. I decided to keep it home today, still get on with you, and still do my other things. And yeah, I'm good, man. Cowboys squeaked one out last night. Got to the first thing I said to my dad when we were watching, it was fourth. Somebody was fourth and something, and it was 4th and 1. And I was like, hey, Jimmy said something today, and I'm sure you'll agree. I was like, is there a reason why anybody should ever be in the shotgun?
I don't understand it. I'll never understand that. It's a 4th and inches, and the quarterback is 90 yards away. It's right. It's like they're in punt formation. But we're going to get to that Cowboy game, I assure you. But of course, those of you scoring at home know that I grabbed my stack of baseball cards here. And some people love this segment. Some people say, yeah, I'm going to do the 10-second.
I've gotten rave responses about it.
Well, we got some good reviews here from the Omni. And the bottom line is this one is way too popular. But maybe not to you, but to my people in my age bracket, way too popular. But there were some things I didn't know. And that would be the 1980 card of the Big O, Oscar Gamble, getting involved on it. You probably remember him, or folklore have heard about him. Now, there's a couple things. He's most famous for having the huge this is not even a big one. He had the biggest afro in the league. As a matter of fact, Artie used to keep a picture of it, as well as Bob Costas kept one in his wallet. He did a famous interview with that. I was always a big fan of Oscar Gamble through my cousin John, because he was traded on June 15th on his birthday. The Yankees got Oscar Gamble, so we always got a kick out of him. And he's a lifetime bet. He played 17 years in the league. Did not know that. Lifetime batting average 265, 200 home runs, and 661 RBIs. But here's the kicker. He hit 200 home runs and only 4,500 at-bats. So think about that for a second. So he was known as the ratio guy, home run to at-bat ratio. He also we used to always call him a streak hitter. He would go 11 for 13 in a 4-game series and totally carry the team. And then you were like, hey, Oscar Gamble hasn't gotten a hit in the month of June. Anybody that kind of thing. But he played for the Cubs, Philly, Cleveland, Yankees, White Sox, Padres, Texas, back to the Yankees, and ended with the White Sox. Played with the Yankees in 76, and then from 79 to 84, 7 years. His best year was probably in Cleveland, 74, batted 291, hit 19 home runs, and 77, he batted 297, hit 31 home runs. He'd be making $40 million a year if he was here. They called him the Big O, which anybody, I always call anybody with their last name starts with an O, and it's always the Big O. I love saying that phrase. With the Yankees, he 1 year, I don't know what he did. Bottom line is he was good in the playoffs, a lot of clutch hits. He was definitely a DH guy. He was born in 49. Unfortunately, he died in 2018 at 68 years old. He was involved in a trade, and this is for all my Met fans out there. He was involved in a trade with Del Unser. That's all you got to know. 3 people just drove off the road. Del Unser represents, if there was a magazine called Shitty Mets, Del Unser would be the editor-in-chief and on the cover of just about every magazine. Del Unser, he stinks. But he was also involved in a trade where the Yankees got Bucky Dent.
Bucky frickin' Dent.
Bucky frickin' Dent, right? He was also in a trade that the Yankees got Mickey Rivers. So Oscar Gamble is a fan favorite of the Yankees. Okay,
he's a piece.
But he was involved in trades with two major players that shaped the Yankees, dynasty in the '70s, Rivers and Dent. But he also is famous. I wrote some stuff down. He was famous for a quote talking about the Yankees and the chaos of the '70s, and his quote was, "They don't think it be like it is, but it do."
I want that on a bumper sticker.
That's the
so
best
bad.
quote ever. He also, again, this is for Steve Venditti. He got the last hit in Philadelphia's Connie Mack Stadium, which is like before the Vet. So before the Vet, it was the Connie Mack Stadium. And who got the last hit there? Oscar Gamble.
Who's Connie Mack?
Connie Mack was a famous manager for 1,000 years in the 1910s.
They named a stadium after him?
Yeah, look, Connie Mack up. He's in the Hall of Fame. One of the most famous managers of all time. His son, a young Oscar Gamble Jr. played in the Philly organization. He was known for, matter of fact, I used to do Oscar Gamble as a wiffle ball stance when I was younger. He had a crouch stance over the plate, and he was real skinny. But I love when you read different stuff, like when you go online or Wikipedia, wherever the hell I was looking. It's like Oscar Gamble opened up a disco in Alabama called the Oscar Gamble's Players Club. I would totally love to hang out at the Oscar Gamble's Players. Like, why don't like the cool play? Like, should there be like a Giancarlo Stanton Players Club? That'd be much cooler than like some shitty nightclub we got to go to. Anyway, weird thing is, and I'm going way too long on Oscar Gamble, is that I met a guy in Macon, Georgia. I used to do charity work down there. And he was an African-American guy at one of these celebrity things I met. There was some athletes around. And he was an older gentleman. We started talking and chatting with us. Oh, you involved with the charity? He goes, yeah, I'm involved in baseball. I'm like, oh, and he handed me he goes, I'm a player's agent. And I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. I never really met a player's agent. He handed me his card. And his card said Oscar Gamble. And I went, wait a minute. I said, you're not Oscar Gamble, are you? He goes, yeah. I'm like, so no. Not Oscar Gamble, the player's agent, the big O, like my Oscar Gamble. He goes, yeah. He goes, I know people. I don't have the afro anymore because he had like a shaved head. He was an older guy. I was like, oh my God, I met Oscar Gamble. And he was asking me about agents' fees with acting and stuff. But I was like, I literally had like, I think I had like eight scotches with Oscar Gamble. And this is before texting and cell phones. So like, I would have been, if this happened today, I would have been texting everyone I possibly could. I'm sitting with Oscar Gamble. I'm like a childhood hero, the big O. Anyway, Oscar Gamble. That's my guy. Now, I don't know what my assignment was for you. I think it was shitty quarterbacks, which you probably didn't do.
No, shitty quarterbacks in between Aikman and Romo.
Oh, that's exactly all right. That's what we went with. So who do you got?
This week, I'm going to feature one Quincy Carter.
Yes.
See, and he's not as shitty as everybody put him out to be. He actually turned the team around a little bit. But my funny story about Quincy Carter is, my dad took me and my brother to the Bahamas, to Atlantis, right? So like the big resort. It's all nice, beautiful.
I've been there.
Right before training camp in the NFL. So it was like late June, early July. So right before the players had to go back. And I'm realizing, we're looking around. I'm like, Dad, there's so many NFL players here. Like, he's like, really? I was like, yeah, that's Mike Allstott right over there. Like, that's Lavernius Coles. He's a receiver for the Jets. That's this, right? Seeing all these players, and I guess they're vacationing there with their families. So I'm walking by myself back to my room, and there's like a big, tall black dude coming my way with an entourage. All right. And I look over and I'm like, and I out loud, 18-year-old Dave Sturcio goes, holy shit, it's Quincy Carter. And like, he stopped dead in his tracks. He's like, almost like, how the hell does anybody know me? Right. And I was like, Quincy, holy shit. And he's like, hey, how are you? I was like, but like, if you polled 1 million Cowboy fans, I don't know how many would say like, I want to meet Quincy Carter, but that's who I met. And I was there, and it was a moment for me.
Okay.
So Quincy Carter turned my team around with Bill Parcells. And then he just kind of faded into the sunset.
To me, Quincy Carter, Dak Prescott are the same guy. They play the same way.
Don't even start.
They roll out. They have similar styles. They throw the ball, but they use their legs and stuff like that. They had the same similar body types. He would be good because the Giants were good one of those years, and he would avoid the rush a lot on the Giants when they would blitz and stuff. But I remember Quincy Carter very well. But he end up get on another team and started one year. Do you know that? I
off the top of my head, I think he did start for I want to say Carolina.
I was going to say the Browns. I don't know. I just remember
he would just be on a Rolodex of Browns quarterback.
A Brown big. That guy, Quincy Carter. There's somebody you don't hear.
You know what? Jets. My son's team.
It was on the Jets. That's right. Your son's a big Jet fan at age 1.
Yeah, he played 7 games. He started 3 games for the Jets. He went 2-1. He threw for 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, almost 500 yards.
I know. So, there we go.
A very successful Jet quarterback. If you go back to the lineage of the Jets, that's a success.
Well, there you go. Quincy Carter getting involved. We got Joey Pizzella kicking in. Talking about Oscar Gamble. He had a dinger every 22 at bats for Oscar Gamble. And yeah, all right, we're gonna get to Mr. September, Dak Prescott later on in the show. Listen.
Here you go, Joe. Here you go.
Probably a bitter Giant fan.
Of course.
So all right. Well, that of course brings us to now. I got a few texts. People are actually bummed out. I don't rattle off my Patreon people anymore.
Get the hell. There's nobody. Texted you and said that.
Yes.
No shot.
Now you just froze on my screen. Don't know why. I have to stare at a frozen Dave right now. Can I hear you? Can you still hear me? And Dave Sturcio is gone from the Omni in Atlanta. Well, you know what's good? The name of the show is the Jimmy Palumbo Show. And so I'll just have to do the show without Dave because he's frozen on my screen here at Shea. Dave, if I'm frozen, log back in, do whatever you have to do. I have no idea where the hell you went. But that's all right. Now I did get some notices here that they didn't like the fact I don't rattle off all the names. And I said, you know what? I'm going to just mention a few that are very important to me. Number 1, Alex Stetsena. He's the number 1 Patreon. And I saw him at the local bar here in Ramsey the other night, and he told me, it's my most proudest moment that I'm number 1 on your Patreon. I was like, I'm glad I got the $3 a month. And then Dave just disappeared on me again. So Alex Stetsena, thank you for the unbelievable support. And also James Kanowitz. First of all, James Kanowitz, I'm gonna show some love to some Patreon people here. James Kanowitz has an awesome podcast. If you're a fan of Chevy, if you're a fan, there you go. Dave's back. I don't know what happened to you, brother.
Sorry,
Dave's back. If my buddy James Kanowitz, if you're a fan of Fletch and Chevy Chase, you got to listen to my buddy James Kanowitz's podcast. I think it's just the most highly produced podcast I've ever seen. It's got sound drops. It's a beautiful work of art. If you're in the niche of a fan of the movie Fletch, I love his podcast.
It's just based on Fletch?
Yes, but it's like all encompassing. There's directors interviewed, writers, cast members who I didn't even know were in Fletch. It's really, please check this out. It's one of those, when you read all the books where people say, you too can make money doing podcasts. It's all about containing your niche. I used to say, you're better off doing a podcast about pencils, and then you get all the pencil companies to advertise on your show. Well, James Kanowitz has a pencil show called Fletchcast, and it's all about Fletch. The new movie that came out. It's awesome. And he's a great guy. He's also been very helpful. Designed my first website, which is still the best one I ever had, even though I got a new one now. And actually, Chris Gucci is actually helping me. All I do is finance Job Sports. I'm like the Bill Gates.
I have sick days, vacation days, and all this stuff built into my contract because of Jimmy Palumbo.
Yes, I have. Chris Gucci called me up like, hey, can I help you do your website? I was like, okay. So Dave sends me a bill every Friday. Now Chris sends me a bill every Friday. Listen, I have always
my bill's a lot less than his. I don't want to hear it.
I have always been an investor in Job Sports. I continue to invest.
We asked you to in the beginning. You said no, so whatever.
Yeah, thank God. And now you got to drink. You drink that gallon of water on your investor. Anyway, so James Kanowitz has always been huge. He's a big Cowboy fan and Laker fan. So just a big shout out. Good buddy, good friends with Joe Covino as well. And he always helped me out for 1,000 years. And so I wanted to just give him a shout out. Now, I will tell everybody, I really want to thank all my Patreon. I'll tell you why I'm spending so much time on this. Number one, please log in. I'm losing people because their credit cards are expiring and they don't go back in. That includes my good friend Greg, my mother, and like another other person. But what I'm really doing with Patreon, and this is important, I mean this sincerely. I never took any of the money out. It just sits in an account. But I'm taking all of my Patreon money out, and it's helping financing Beer League, this series, which we are shooting this week, which we're going to get to in a few minutes. So all my Patreon money, or a good portion of it, is going to pay for these 3 episodes that we're doing, shooting this week, which we're going to talk about. So everybody really is contributing to the Beer League, the series shoot, which is very cool. So if you feel like hopping in and doing a big ass donation to Patreon and or Indiegogo, INDIEGOGO.com, type in Beer League, the series. Now is the time. We are late in the fourth quarter. It's getting late early here at Shea. So now is the time to do that. So anyway, I just want to give a shout out to all my Patreon members. I appreciate it. And I have to get to my mother and go online and tell her how to, she hasn't paid since March. I even think Robin and Shawnee declined, my cousin, everybody's, and Joe Cinecor getting involved here. He pays a little bit more a month. He puts Joe, I don't try to tell how much everybody pays, but thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Joe is a $5 a month Patreon, man.
There's levels to this shit,
you
man.
know what?
There's levels to this.
I'm going to have to talk about Joe Cinecor next week. All right, Joe, we love you, buddy. Which brings us to Absolute Eyewear. Got to pay some bills here at Shea, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937, 732-326-3937. Craig and Johnine, listen, just go there. If you need sunglasses, call them up, visit the store. It's in Woodbridge, down by the train station. They're great. I know I do this ad. They're full-service opticians, and I'm good friends with Johnine and Craig. Johnnine's a doll. She always helps me out, and so Craig played on my Charles Oakley. That's great. I wasn't even going to do the Bob Shepard, but now I have to.
Sorry.
Go down to Absolute Eyewear, 42 Main Street, Woodbridge, New Jersey, 732-326-3937. They have all kinds of glasses. Your attention, please. Now, wait a minute. Let's see the timing of you with holding the card up. See how well you can produce. Ready? Your attention, please. Available at Absolute Eyewear, Ray-Ban, Coach, Ralph Lauren.
Damn it.
Dave Sturchio's Jimmy Choo, Michael Kors, Vogue, Maui Jim, Costa Del Mar, and Charles Oakley visits the store with his kids. They got all kinds of
babysat by Janine.
Yeah, that's it. Either Charles Oakley or Janine babysit your kids while you visit the store. Depends on what your outlook on life is. Go check them out. Absolute Eyewear, getting involved here. All right, well, let's face it. Let's discuss my Scarlet McKnight Saturday. Now, I gotta tell you, I know people, I always talk about sports and stuff, but listen, I gotta tell you how this day went. First of all, miserable, okay? The game started at noon. Rain was in the forecast from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And the forecasters were dead on. I get there. I decided not to go crazy early because I didn't feel like sitting in the rain. I got wet at a Rutgers game like 20 years ago. And I said to myself, I will never, ever sit at a football game where the water is in my asshole, is in my soul like it was on this game. So I went out and purchased. I have this rain gear where
you're not a poncho guy, are you?
No. I have the whole bit. The pants with the strap, the suspenders over the pants. I got the duck boots. Not even the name brand ones, the off-brand Burlington Coat Factory duck boots. Okay, I have, and this thing, I am dry as it's wonderful, but I look like a complete asshole. Bright yellow. It's ugly as hell. I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to sit
You're
there.
the Gordon Fisherman.
That's right. I will hand out fish sticks to the kids. I don't care. Okay. So I show up at the game, and at the beginning, like 35 of us were there. Our group were there. There was nobody there. It was a homecoming game. Everything was wet and miserable. It was awful. So we're watching the game, and I was like, you know what? This is a winnable game here, right? So next thing you know, it's 7-0. Then it's 7-6, right? We're like, all right, we're playing like shit. There's 1:55 left in the half. I figured we went to the half, down 7-6, and then we even made them punt. So now we're down 7-6. They're punting. And they punt the ball, and Rutgers fumbles the punt. Michigan State runs it in on the first play. So now it's 14-6, 1:45 to go. And you know the people that say, hey, there's plenty of time. Let's get going. Let's start going downfield. Those are the dumb people. What happens is Gavin Wimsatt, my favorite quarterback of all time, a young Quincy Carter, he goes out, throws a duck over the middle, interception, 2 plays, field goal. It's 17-6. So again, Rutgers went to 7-6, awful game in the rain, to 17-6. I go up. I told my brother. My brother was dressed like a boob too. He had his red. At least his rain gear was red. So I go up to get. I said, Frank, I gotta get a beer. So I go up to get a beer. I get a large 24-ounce Miller Lite, right? And I'm seeing some old friends home comforting this guy, some frat guys. My buddy Phelan was there, and Jay Figus was there, and I met some other guys. And then I said, let me head down to the seats. I go to the seats, okay? I sit with like 40 people. No one is there. All my friends, my brother's gone. I'm like, what? I said, this. So I sit next to 4 guys who are probably listening to the show behind me that I only know through going to the games. I go, I guess everybody went out. But I was like, I'm a fisherman. I'm so anybody need fish sticks? I sat there and I'm like, I can't believe my brother just bailed. Like, no way. Right? So I watch about 2 minutes of the third quarter. Next thing you know, I hear my brother yelling, Jeb, I'm going to sit down low. Now, we have perfect seats. You've sat in them. My brother wanted to sit 5 rows above the team. He likes to watch the interaction with I know you, was it you who sat really close at Giant Stadium behind the Cowboy bench?
I've sat. Yeah, I've sat close like that.
Somebody else I know did it for the Giants. When you sit really low at his football stadium, the seats suck now because you can't see. But it's really cool to see. You get a feel for like the bench, the attitude. So we sat literally like a stone's throw away from the Rutgers bench. And it was raining harder now. So I'm sitting there with my brother. We look like 2 jackasses. We look like 2 13-year-old kids who on a rain delay at a Little League game.
Wait, so you're in bright yellow behind the Rutgers bench?
Yes.
I gotta look for you guys now. Yeah, I gotta go watch the game.
Totally. As a matter of fact, I deleted. I should have. So we're sitting. I'm in yellow. He's in red, and you can see me clear as day. So I'm sitting there, and I look at my brother. I'm like, Frank, what are we doing here? But he's like, Seattle just doesn't get it done on these big games. He shits the bed, and it's true. So we're sitting there, and then all right. So we watch Michigan. We punt, they punt, but then Michigan State went on a 8-minute. One of those, like, the kind of drive. It's happened to the Cowboys. It's happened to the Giants. It's happened to every fan. One of those drives where they ran it, couple of passes, a lot of 3rd and 2s, first down. One of those just clock, just brutal all the way down to literally the start of the fourth. They go up 24-6. And I'm like, this is Frank. He goes, let's just watch one more series. So somehow Rutgers gets the ball back. They go 3 and out, of course. So Michigan State gets the ball back, and we hold them. So it's 24-6, and Michigan State is punting. And the guy hits a shitty punt, I thought, and Rutgers gets the ball to 35. Now, I was so in this low phase of fanship at this point. I was like, this is how you know you're a loser. I was like, let's just start at the 35. It's not so bad, right? But all of a sudden, referee's like, offsides. Punting team, replay, they're going to re-kick it. And my first thing was, Why are they going to re-kick it? Watch this guy hit a 70-yard punt. We'll start at our own 20. And my brother's like, why did you even bother re-kicking it? And then I was like, I've got to remember, low key. I was like, you never know. Sometimes you botch the snap or something, you get blocked. But it was not that we were going to do it. Next thing you know, the ball's bouncing all over the end zone. 11 Rutgers players. I think some of the guys on the bench. I think there was 19 Rutgers players on the field. I even think Shiano got a hand on it. It was just an awful play. Next thing you know, touchdown. My brother goes, Now all of a sudden it's 28-30. 24-13. And you know the old rule, when you're down by 11, field goal, touchdown, 2-point conversion, the loserness of fans. And this is really, I want to talk about this because you know, you're a Cowboy fan. You've dealt with this since 1996. The losing, being a fan's like cancer. The loserness that comes out in your body as a fan. When the glimmer of help, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you're like, 11, hey, quick field goal, cut it to 8. Like,
I said that on the week 2 Arizona. I was like, 21-10. It's only 11. Like, it's not like it looks on the outside looking in. It's like, wow, you're down 21-10. But then you're like, but it's only 11 points.
I know. It's like, we'll get the 2-point conversion, 2 onside kicks, 2 long field goals. We're tied. So it goes on. So then next thing you know, Rutgers is kicking off. And 2 weeks ago, my brother was like, why are they doing this short kick? Just kick it in the end zone. The other team starts. Well, they kicked one of these things called a sky kick, but it was right in front of us, kind of. We saw that one. It was on our side of the field. I knew right away. I was like, because it was like, that guy's not going to, Michigan State guy's not, he's not going to get to it. And next thing you know, the ball's bouncing off me and my brother and some of the fans, hit off the cameraman. Rutgers got the ball. We're yelling and screaming, boom, touchdown pass. Now all of a sudden we're like, I don't believe the score is 24-20. And next thing you know, we get the ball back again and we score. It was like, this is not what we do. We don't do this. Of course, we're like, my brother looks at me, he goes, classic loser line from a fan. We scored too soon. That's how you know you stink. When anybody says we scored too soon, you're just a loser. Like my brother's a loser, but you're a loser fan. Like you're so used to.
That was the claim to fame for me. It was like when it was like too much time for Rodgers.
Right. It's all especially now in Mahomes. I think I was watching a game with the Chiefs about 3 years ago, whatever it was, and it was 9 seconds to go, and the other team
80
scored,
yards down the field.
And somebody went, "You can't leave. You can't leave." I was like, actually, the Chiefs lost this one. I was like, "There's 9 seconds to go." Yes, that's not scoring too soon. They did that just fine. There was another game though. They left like a minute. I was like, a minute, 2 timeouts, you're done. So anyway, we get the ball back with 6 minutes to go, and we're like, here we go. Here comes the 3 and out. And then Rutgers went on I don't know how to describe it, a very Bill Parcells un-Rutgers 6-minute drive. But I was doing clock management. I felt like I was a mathematician at Harvard. I was looking at that clock. And then all of a sudden they got a key first down. And the guy, Wimsat, was, before he kneeled on it, did like the 6 steps back. But he had to do it 3 times. So now this is how I know I'm a loser. All I saw, we were at the 20-yard line, but he kept on taking steps back. So it was like the 28, then it was the 36. I was like, wait a minute. Michigan State's on the move here. And we're kneeling on it. I'm thinking we're going to be like a young Miami Hurricanes. So I'm watching it. But meanwhile, I was like, on the last one he did, I said, Frank, it's 40 seconds. He has to kneel after it goes to 39. Anybody scoring at home, if you have it on your DVR, please go to the end of that game. Gavin Wimsett kneeled on that ball at the 39.75 of a second. It was the most scalpel incision of clock management I've ever seen in my life. And anyway, so Rutgers ended up winning the game. Was that the victory from the jaws of defeat? That's exactly what it was. I thought we played like shit all game. But you know what? 5-2.
So now you need one more, right?
We need one more to go to a bowl. I believe we have a shot against Indiana. You'll appreciate this. By the way, the running back Manungai had a great. That's really why we won the game. But if anybody is a fan of college football, you have to go to this website. It's called the Massey ratings, and they have this thing called compilation, a composite. Do you know there's like 40 college polls out there? Do you know that? 40 of them. Some of them are like Dave and Jimmy, who just go by, we like yellow, we like green. They're better.
It's like there's like 39 polls, and they're like, oh, then there's something called the stinks list. What is
that? It's just like me and you watching the game, going, Georgia, they stink. They're number 8. Like some of them are like that. I agree with you, but some of them have these like math things where points scored against points not scored, what's offensive, but not and when you look at the algorithms, some Harvard guys are like, I'm going to figure this out for gambling. You know what I mean? So anyway, There's 40 of them, but they have a composite. So they take all those polls. And right now, Rutgers is ranked 43rd. Okay. And so according to this thing, we have a 54% chance of beating Indiana on the road, which that's big for Rutgers. But here's where the comedy comes in. The next game is Ohio State. The composite says we have a 3% chance of winning. The Iowa game, we have an 8%.
That game's home?
Yeah. The Iowa game, we have an 8% chance of winning. Then we go to Penn State on the road. We have a 2% chance of winning. And then Maryland, we only have a 35%. So in my opinion, if we don't win Saturday, we're going 6-6. I will tell somebody, I've been predicting all year, Rutgers will be higher ranked in this composite than Colorado. And right now, Colorado is ranked 54th. And they play the last 5 games. I think 4 of them are against top like 25 team. We'll see.
You want to talk about a blow lead that you've ever seen in your life?
First of all, I
know you probably loved it.
Here's what happened. I started watching it. It was late. They're up 29-0. And I'm like, God, Stanford stinks. And the players are looking up at the fans, jumping around, Dion with the chains going. And then I'm looking at the Stanford coach, and I'm like, I'd like to buy some life insurance for him. Or maybe I need to buy some carpeting for my house from this guy. He looked so boring. It was 29-0. He had no emotion.
Did you hear about what his son did at halftime?
No. Sanders kid with the watch and all that stuff?
He posted a link on his Instagram to tell everybody to buy his merchandise at halftime.
Right. See, all of that stuff is why I can't stand Colorado and Sanders. Hate the whole, but I love to hate it. Like he gives me nobody ever watches Colorado. So next thing you know, it was 29-6, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go. I'm just beat. So I said, I'm gonna DVR this. Well, I woke up early in the morning to pee, grabbed my phone, looked at it, and it said 46-43 final in Stanford. I poured myself a delicious cup of Maxwell House coffee. I had the DVR, had a wonderful little half a donut cake thing that I had. I was like, I am going to thoroughly enjoy this program, which was the Stanford coming back. And oh my God, it was everything I'm talking about. They only have 2 good players. It's Hunter and Sanders. Everybody else stinks. They have no defense. They don't have an offensive line because Stanford stinks. And then they were arguing with each other. 12 men on the field like 4 times. And the announcers in the first half, look at Sanders over there. He's like so what I do. And the second half was like, look at Sanders there. He's going to be yelling at him. And all I saw was he was just sitting there with his hands folded. Then players started yelling at Dion, and Dion's yelling at them. I'm like, this is why listen, they're great now compared to where they were. College football, man, ain't the pros. Your second stringers stink, just like Rutgers does. You need offensive linemen, even different than the NFL. You need the big uglies up front, and they don't have any of that. And all of a sudden, Travis Hunter played both ways. I think he played both ways. Did you see what the wide receiver on Stanford did to Hunter in the second half? It looked like me covering CeeDee Lamb. That's what it looked like. He was just doing down and out, first down. Everyone's like, no, Hunter can play both ways. No, he can't, because a decent wide receiver is like, I'm just going to eat him alive. And then he caught a huge pass right in his face. I love that. And at the end, Sanders rolling around. All those people, he can roll out. And what's good about him is he rolls out like 60 steps and then throws it over the middle. Yeah, well, he did that. Picked off, overtime, kick is good. Anyway, I love that. I'm not a hater. I got an argument online, one of the Colorado sites. When when sports people, like, I hate Michael Jordan. I don't hate him personally. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, you hate the Giants, I hate the Cowboys, but like, these people that say, "Oh, you're a hater," and you people were being raced into it. Like, if he was a white coach, would you still hate him? I'm like, I don't care. When it's against your team, and I love having guys. Tom Brady. The last couple of years, Tom Brady. I totally watched games with him because I couldn't stand him. Cowboy game too. Well, I'll watch the Cowboy game because I'm rooting for the other team. I'm sure you do it with the Giants. But these people get like, why are you hate so much? Like, it's being a fan. Otherwise, what am I doing? What am I doing?
Part of it.
Next thing you know, I'm watching air disasters on National Geographic Channel. I mean, so it's like, great show, by the way. Anyway, so I thoroughly enjoyed that. Thoroughly. Well, I guess we got to talk about the football NFL this weekend. Right? My college rant. Giant game. I'm pissed at the Giants for really one reason. I thought my buddy came over. I thought we were going to spend a couple hours, half an hour, having a few cocktails. Sunday night, he'll go home with the half. Giants down 28-0. And next thing you know, the most boring, awful football game. God, if I was an executive at ESPN or NBC, it was on NBC, I would have been beside myself. Like, oh my God, this is like watching a soccer game. It was awful. Giant defense played okay. But, when you have a tough loss like that and you're 3-2 or 2-3, your season's still alive. But when you lose a game like that and now you're 1-5, there's no moral victory. It's like, ooh, now it's really over. And I got to tell, I thought the kid Taylor played okay. Giants, though, I think they have like 12 quarters in a row with no offensive touchdowns. Since 76.
Yeah, they haven't scored since before my birthday. That's September 10th.
Yeah, well, the last time that happened, I was 11. I mean, so like it's almost uncanny. I don't know, but I'll get another thing, and I could be wrong about this. One of Jimmy Palumbo's. This is classic Jimmy Palumbo on the couch. I think the Bills might stink. I really do. They're not good. The Giants were doing nothing, and the Bills, let's put it this way, they didn't have a counterpunch. They're going to go 15 rounds with people. I predict the Bills ain't blowing out anybody. If you don't blow out the Giants, you stink. I don't know. They lost to the Jets. They got blown out in Europe, and really the Giants really, you can make the argument they almost really could have won the game very easily. I don't know. The quarterback on the Chargers, since this podcast started, overthrew another receiver. I believe, you know what? If I swear to God, if a decent couple things about the Cowboy game. Number one, you got to win games like this. If you're a Cowboy fan, you just got to survive in advance.
Sure.
But Herbert missed wide open receivers for big plays. I thought the Pollard pass was a lucky play. Is spinning around 60 yards. Otherwise, he didn't do shit all game. Dak Prescott did something. I don't know about his passing. And Troy Aikman said something very right during the game. He said, CeeDee Lamb, who I think he's one of the best receivers, if not, he's just open on every play, I think. But Aikman said it best. He said, on the regular pass patterns, CeeDee Lamb's not open. But when Dak Prescott rolls out after the big rush, and not a purposeful roll, like a scramble rollout, CeeDee Lamb's getting open on the secondary moves. And he goes, that's a good job by the Chargers. They're covering him really well. So I got to give Prescott credit. Don't get sacked, roll out. And then if I was him, I'd be like, where's CeeDee Lamb? I'm throwing the ball in his direction. And that's what he did for some big, big plays. I think he had 10 catches or 8 catches or something.
Yeah, he had over 100 yards receiving. Dak definitely used his legs a lot more than what we're used to last night. So that's how he improvised. But he also does hold on to the ball a little too much. Like, he just took a couple sacks where I'm just like, come on.
He threw a beautiful touchdown pass. I didn't watch the entire game. I watched a lot of it though. But look, it's called a week-to-week league. The Cowboys to me are not. I thought they'd be better. To be honest with you, and I think the Chargers. I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but Also, the Jets beat the Eagles. That was a fun little thing to watch. That
Nice
was like
little treat. Nice
you know
little
what?
treat.
That was like watching a good episode of Little House on the Prairie. Like, oh, look at that! Like the rains came and the seeds are going to grow, or oh, the hurricane didn't destroy the crops. What a nice episode! Michael Landon and the Jets beat the Eagles. Being a Jet fan, though, I think it's going to do. The Jets being a Jet fan is different. That's a different kind of. We talk about being a loser fan. It's similar to Rutgers pain, but we never even get to the operating room to survive. The Jets, though, like when a Rutgers fan calls the ambulance, there's a GPS issue. You just die in the room. You never get out of your apartment. The Jet fans, though, the ambulance is there right away. They get you to the hospital. The best doctor in the world's at the table. It's a very curable disease. And you just the Jet pain is different. And I think the Jets, I know they're playing great. You know, they're having fun. They're 3-3. Hey, after 6 games. But like you just know, like, oh, this is not going to end well for them. It's just not.
They got a really, really good defense. I think their defense played very well, and they turned Jalen Hurts over 4 times, or 3 times in another one. But yeah, Zach Wilson, he has to be Trent Dilfer. He has to just don't fuck up and just play your game. Like don't run free. Don't try to make something out of nothing. But yeah, he's got to calm it down a little bit. And
just was nice to. I'd love to see like the Eagles lose another one, and then maybe the Phillies not completely dominate all of sports. I'm tired of this. First, it was Boston
last night, so
it was Boston for 6 years, and now it's like Philly now. Like enough. But it was nice to see that Philly head coach look like a jerk after the game. Which brings me to cornholelevel.com. That's right. Cornhole Level, Mike Caprio's fine company. Now, listen, if you're scoring at home, Dave, listen, you and your wife have been complaining about your crooked cornhole for years. And this is what you need, Dave. I got to text your wife, say, Dave's cornhole has an issue. When you buy this cornhole level, you hook it right onto the board, just like that. And then you can do the whole to and fro and all that different stuff. And boom, those of you scoring at home, there's the little doohickey, whatever you call that thing.
QR code, Jimmy.
The QR code, that's what you call it. And look at the Scarlet McKnights. They even have college things on it now. He's getting rights to them as we speak by the day, different teams. $19.95, 20% off your order. If you put in JP Show, go to cornholelevel.com. These things are awesome. It's stocking stuffer time here at Shea. Buy it for one of your jerk-off friends who thinks cornhole's cool at a barbecue. Whenever someone invites you to a barbecue and they say, yeah, man, I got 2 cornhole sets set up. Like, really? That's making me not want to go to your barbecue. Okay. I'd rather have someone say, dude, I got perfect place for wiffle ball. I'm like, oh, I'm there, man. I'll get there early. I'll be ready to go. But cornholelevel.com will help you if you have a friend that is creepy and likes cornhole, which right now I didn't play this month, so I dropped from 8th in the world. I'm now ranked 17th because I haven't played.
As long as you hover in the top 25, you'll be all right.
Well, I haven't played in 2 years, so
that's true. You were
it's
idle.
hard to
Every
hold
time
up.
they go to the rankings, you're just as idle.
I'm like one of those heavyweight boxers who wins it, then he takes off like 2.5 years and comes in horribly overweight. Bone Crusher Smith. So go to cornholelevel.com, and of course, they sponsor the all-important, the deadly accurate, the NFL Stinks list. Now, maybe I'll be kind this week, Shay. All right. Miami Dolphins, very good. Buffalo Bills, average. Jets, average. New England Patriots, stink. Wait a minute. I got this right? No, I got this wrong. I grabbed the wrong one. Hang on here, Shay. Hold on. The wrong stinks list. I got to talk to my producer. Dave, I got the wrong stinks list. Okay, here we go. NFL stinks week 6. Dolphins, very good. Bills, average. Almost put them at stinks. New York Jets, good. New England Patriots, stink. Up there with the Giants for the worst team in the league. Baltimore Ravens, average. The Steelers, stink. Cleveland Browns, average. Bengals, average. But the Bengals are starting to heat up a little bit here, Shay. AFC South. Jacksonville Jaguars, good. The Colts, average. The Texans stink. The Titans stink. But That's been leading the league in stinks for the last 2 years. But I'm thinking now the Texans or Tennessee Titans may, I don't know, maybe they may start. There's average in their hope. I got the Kansas City Chiefs as only good. I think Denver stinks, and the Chiefs never quite pulled away. And as long as Taylor Swift's involved in anything, they're becoming very good is very difficult for me. Vegas, Chargers, Broncos all stink. I think the Chargers stink, even though you're a Cowboy fan. You probably think they're not that bad.
Yeah, they were 2-2 going in, winners of 2 straight, winners of 9 straight Monday Night Football games. So, yeah, I think we did all right.
They stink.
All right.
Philadelphia Eagles, good. Dallas Cowboys, down. So there's not many very goods anymore. Cowboys, I'm going to keep the Cowboys at average for now. The Cowboys might be the team that moves up and down the most. I don't know why. They just might. The Redskins. I can't say Redskins. Washington Commanders, average. New York Giants stink. They still stink. Okay. Detroit Lions. I think they might be the best team in the league right now. Very good. And nobody, you know what's great about the Lions? I'll see if you're right. Like, you don't hate the Lions. Who hates the Lions?
Chris Gucci hates the Lions.
Packer pussy. I forgot about that. All right. So, excuse my language, anybody scoring at home. But
that was great.
The Packers stink. Vikings stink. It barely got by the Bears, and the Bears stink. Tampa Bay, average. Falcons, average. Saints and Panthers, I'm sorry, they both stink. That Saint Texas game, I was watching that a little bit. Oof, that's just horrible football going on there. 49ers, sorry, you're back down to good. Seahawks, average. Rams, average. And the Arizona Cardinals stink. So it's 14 stinks, 11 average, 5 goods, 2 very goods. The Jimmy Palumbo NFL Stinks List. So proud to have you aboard. Sponsored by cornholelevel.com. Well, we might as well get to some important news here, Dave. This Friday, we are shooting Beer League, the series. Episodes 6, 7, and 8 are being shot Friday and Saturday. The rain looks like it's going to hold up, kind of, so prepare for lousiness. We are done casting. The new I'm not going to tell you what roles they're playing, but there's 3 new cast members. They are Natalie Vero, Victor Del Rio, and Frankie Masasa are now added to the cast. You will, let's see, will you meet any of them? Yes, Dave, you will meet Natalie Vero. I don't want to give away plot points early. And the good news is, another rumor, creative rumor, is that we may actually shoot this one as a pilot, may all come together instead of 3 episodes. That's on the books right now. Some of the powers that be, me and Tom, the director. So 2 of us. I'll make it sound like there's a whole room of creatives working on this. Am I
on the board? Am I on the board by any chance?
Well, you are going to be heavily involved with. And listen, I doubt anybody's listening from the cast, but if you are, I'm telling you right now, I was a nice guy through the first 5 episodes, but if you don't promote this on your social media and get a grassroots thing,
the proverbial gloves are coming off.
Yes, Dave, you did a nice job with the first go around with the social media, but we got to be even better on that on my end, your end, Tom's end, the cast members. I'm going to make you like. I think I'm going to give you the right to send emails out, like a group email going, hey guys, I don't see anything. Like, because you're better at that stuff than I am. That's why I hire you for that. I'm going to be like, literally like, I'm going to put like a black blur over your face if you don't promote it on your face. Cause it's the only way it's going to work. It's got to be out there. As a matter of fact, I noticed I got a lot of YouTube comments on some of the beer league stuff, and I didn't comment. I'm going to make sure. I think people don't even know when I posted scenes from the diner, people made comments. I don't even know if they know about it. I got to ask you about that, how to do a link. Because this thing resides on the interweb. And I'm talking about, if you're the sound guy, you will be posting about this project, because there's about 30 people involved, and all 30 have to be not just one. So like, check it out. No, well, that was 2 days ago. Check it out again. Because some people just didn't. give a fuck. Be quite honest with you. And I don't care if you have, if people are like, well, I don't have a big following. You have 10 people, so make your mother and aunt watch it. Like, that's how we are. But it should be fun. Me and Dave will be down there in downtown Hillsborough at the Charter Fields. We're going to be on the field, which should be fun. You got a very, again, by the way, when Chop Sports Media, when they have their Hall of Fame museum, I'm trying to think of the huge monument, the Lombardi Matter of fact, if you guys someday have an award for best podcast, I think they're going to call it the Palumbo Trophy. There's no doubt about it. Who is
never know.
Casting you in a wonderful role, which I don't want to discuss what you do because that ruins the fun for people. It's a fine role, fine role. It should be really, really funny. And I got to do the casting. Now, what was wild about that is, I audition all the time. I've done auditions from your joint a few times. I was able to now get those tapes. So now I'm on the other side of the table. And I'm going to toot my own horn. Not my acting skill. I'll leave that for other people. I do a decent job. My videos are clean, neat audio. Some of these actors, man, like you can tell they were just like no preparation, no, just no, like, God, like what did you even look at it for 5 minutes before you went on?
They're doing this, like just
hold it.
Yeah,
right, and then I got to be honest with you, we did some callbacks, and I hate to. I don't want to sound like a jackass here, but perhaps I have some God-given talent because I certainly don't. I mean, I've taken acting classes over the years, but I don't know if it's the comedic timing, but things got to be like there's a beat to it, and some of the people, like, I'll say a line, and then they have like kind of a joke line, and it's like, hey, what's going on? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. What do you mean? Like, no, it's got to be, what's going on? What do you mean? Like, the delays, I felt like going, delay of game, 5 yards. I was like, oh my God, which I want to be able to like call up their acting coach or something and be like, hey, anyway, that's me being a jerk off. But I mean, it's like, but then I realized some of the kids are young and they're getting it going, and some of them are very pretty people, and they'll probably be big stars, and they'll cast me someday as the grouchy old uncle on the
bus driver.
Bus driver. Yeah, come on in, guys, come on in. We're going to school, I'll be like the Sully of bus drivers. How do you avoid that?
You're officially, for me, when I think of Jimmy Palumbo, the actor, now I think of bus driver and I think of doorman.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
that's where we're at.
Those of you scoring at home, doorman, pizzeria owner.
Yes, pizzeria.
And some kind of driver are up there. I think they're like 4 apiece. And not far behind is like cop. Early on, it was all cop. Like me playing cops now is like you're watching Lombardi and the Packers and NFL films.
I feel like you would be a cop, very good cop on like an NYPD Blue at this point. Right. Yeah, just like one of those old detectives. Like, I gotta.
That's totally what I totally want to be. I want to be like Jerry Orbach. I swear to God, if I die and get I just want to be Jerry Orbach. He just shows up. There you go. That's why I could be half the actor Jerry Orbach was. But not a quarter of the actor he was, excuse me. Yeah, I would love to be that disgruntled guy, like pissed off. He was home having a steak dinner with his wife and he gets called in. Totally oblivious that 3 people are lying dead next to him. That guy, like, what do we got? 3 dead? All right, well, it's a little chilly out here.
I'm back in a paddy wagon.
But so we're going to be at the field Friday. Then we're going to be at Deej's gym. I can't even reveal. We're going to be at a gym on Friday, and then in a kitchen on Saturday as well. I think the scripts are funny. I do, and I'm really looking forward to getting there. And we're gonna have fun. And hopefully it doesn't rain on. And make sure I got to talk. Well, you're going to be getting an email about times and all that stuff. And that brings us to, you know what? Sometimes, Dave, you need to do something to give your body the shit it needs. ChasingMiracles.com. The patches. My mother and 2 of her friends are all patched up. The Chasing Miracles stem cell patches. Go to chasingmiracles.com. This stuff works. It allows your body to repair itself. I've really been sick in a while. My no pain in my heel. I haven't got the gout in a while. There's some other things there that it does. There's no needles. You can still pee in the cup. You're not going to be like Barry Bonds. It's all good. Go to chasingmiracles.com. Try this stuff. A lot of athletes do it. It's easy. You put one on your back, maybe one below your belly button, or you put it right on where the problem is. If you tore your calf or something, shove one of these. Tore your calf. If you hurt your calf.
You think Aaron Rodgers will put it right on his Achilles?
I think he might be doing that. I'm going to contact Aaron.
Guy's walking around throwing a football already.
Like, yeah, I know. But that's just increasing the pain for Jet fans. But check it out, chasingmiracles.com. They got all kinds of things. You got to talk to Tommy and Donna. It's really cool stuff. And so go check it out. Now, we're getting to the end of the show here. I've decided I was watching too many, like, my 400-pound friend and Air Disasters. That show, Air Disasters, it's never not on. It's just always on. It's like another play. And
it's like Big Bang Theory on like all the TBS. It's like always on.
Let me see how these pilots screwed up by not speaking the correct language. Like, did he say green or red? Or it turns out the Boeing S-390, the little gadget to the corner was supposed to be blue, and he thought it was green. And
turned out he's colorblind.
Right. It's always like, I love the bad acting on those shows. It's great. Like, and they show them, and then you're like, but then all of a sudden, sometimes no one dies. You're like, you know what's sad when you're a fan of Air Disasters? When no one dies, you're a little bit like you're you're a little disappointed when no one dies in the crash because
this is what these things are for. Like my bonus mom Barry every time. Like I'm like, oh, you got to watch this series. It's really good. She's like, yeah, but how many people get killed every episode? It's like, what is wrong with you?
It's like my mother has to know if it has a bad ending or not. My mother buys a book. She reads the last 10 pages, finds out if it's a happy ending.
Shut up.
I swear to God. If you send my mother to a movie and don't tell her like at the end everybody dies, she literally will shoot me in the face. Like, how dare you?
My dad to this day, no matter what movie I'll go, I'm like, I'm going to see such and such, and he always says like, oh, what are you going to see that for? He dies in the end. Like, no matter what it is, he dies in the end. It happened once. I actually went to see a movie. I think it was called like Empire with John Leguizamo a long time ago with my buddy Kevin. He's like, oh, what the hell are you going to see that? He dies in the end. I'm like, ha. And like, we're watching the last scene and like John Leguizamo like pulls up to a red light. And I'm like, I guess that's the end of the movie. And then like a gun just appears, blows it out. No, it happened.
That's great. He dies at the end. I know that whole Titanic thing. My dad was classic. What are you going to see that for? I know how it ends. Which is such a shitty joke at the time. I know. Although if I was my father's age when that movie, maybe I am my father's age when that movie came out.
Oh, shit.
Late
90s.
So instead of binge watching Air Disasters and rooting for the plane, you know what? I'm sure there's degenerate gamblers that don't know because it's based on real stories. Imagine being a degenerate gambler calling a bookie. Hey, can I bet on the 1974 Air Florida crash? What's the over and under on deaths?
What's the weather like over in Iowa? It's about to fly through the jet stream. I don't know.
Well, hey, I found out the weather in 1968 over Scandinavia. I'm trying to see how many people died in this crash. That's a great bit.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. Anyway, I started, I'm reading 2 books. I decided my daughter's reading How to Kill a Mockingbird.
Okay.
To kill a mockingbird for her class, 9th grade. I said, you know what? I saw the movie 1,000 years ago, Gregory Peck. And, I was like, I never read the book. It's one of those books that I just never read. And I said, you know what? She's reading it now, and I'm going to read it. So I'm really digging it. It's great. Thoroughly enjoying it. I'm also reading another great book for you Southern rock fans out there. Dave, you're not part of this. This book called Brothers and Sisters, Allman Brothers Story of the 70s by Alan Paul is wild, man. They're telling stories that there's no bigger Allman Brother fan besides me. And I'm telling you right now, there's stuff in there that I didn't even know. So it's really a really cool book. And so I'm enjoying that. So I'm actually reading. When your team stink, you read more. Just like my cousin John, his cable company doesn't get MSG. He can't watch the Knicks. So in the beginning, he was like, you got to get the Fire Stick or something. He's like, I'm not doing that.
Dude.
So he's like, so my cousin John's like, I think I'm better off without MSG. I think I really am. Yeah,
not too many losses are not good for the blood.
Like,
Let's just not watch it.
My lawn is perfectly groomed. The leaves.
You ever see that? You've seen The Cable Guy, right? With Jim Carrey.
Right.
The scene where he finally lands on the satellite dish and everybody loses signal.
Right.
And then there's the scene of the big fat guy on the couch, and he's like, no. And then he just looks over to his book and he grabs a book and like, he opens up a book. And he's like, oh, I'm reading.
Exactly what it is. Listen, I would think the average football fan would probably add $25,000 to his income if you didn't watch football. I think the average. The SAG strike, I'm so depressed over this. We're shooting these beer league things on a low budget thing. I just
got a waiver, right, or something like that.
We got a waiver because it's under low budget. But oh my God. The producers walked away from the table. SAG wants a piece of the subscriber money from Netflix and other streamers. And
I get their,
what?
It's like, you got to get back to work.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not smart enough. I know there's issues that have to be solved because these big companies are making money on product without paying it. So it's not like everybody's like, little streamers. You know how many people have Netflix? You know how many people
Everybody.
have Disney Plus? I mean, you do. I'm sure you do now. You have to. You have kids.
Got the bundle. Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN all in one.
I got the same thing, and that's big money there. And so you know what? When you order Chinese food and a guy comes, you got to pay the bill. So when anyway, there's issues there with streaming. It's a lot of technology changes in the last 8 years that have, no more DVDs, and so. That kind of thing. But I wish I knew more. You don't know who to believe. All I know is, and this is going to be, I'm going to get abused by my actor friends. Nothing against Fran Drescher, but like there's something about the nanny negotiating for us. I can't get, in other words, to me, I know. I'm supposing she is a smart lady and that was just an act. I get it. But to me, it's like, I don't know, like it would be like Ralph Cramden at the table. We're not going on strike. Like it just the new rule for SAG should be this: you can't have a major character actor over be a president of SAG when nobody takes him seriously. I mean, I just don't. I don't understand that. Unless it's Jennifer Aniston or what's her name, Barbie. If Margot Robbie, you know what? That's it, Dave. If Margot Robbie was president of SAG, the strike would have been over in 4 days. Okay. It would have been a $7,000% increase in daily fees. The actors would own Netflix. Part of it. We'd have part ownership of Netflix. We'd have everything. She would just ask for stuff like, I want part ownership. Sure. Yes, Margot. Anything else, Margot? So I'm petitioning Margot Robbie to please.
I signed it already.
Yeah. Dave's not even in SAG and you're in.
I'm
also a shout out. You know what? This is before you died. Suzanne Summers died.
Yeah.
For some reason that's shitty for me. I remember,
for me, it was step by step, but before you, it was like Three's Company and all that.
Three's Company and that awful Thigh Master, which by the way,
Chuck Norris.
She's very funny about the Thigh Master with that dopey thing. I remember as a kid, like when you were younger, seeing these women with their thighs going up and down. You're like, good for JJ Day here at the stadium. I remember but you know what? You ever see her in interviews? She's like, I stopped counting after 10 million were sold. I think she got like four. All the money went to her. I think she made over $300 million. That's 80s money, kids. Okay.
Yeah.
She was like a young Shador. It is just, but she's dead. It just seemed that's just one of those deaths. You're like, oh shit. Like you start thinking about your own demise. Like, hey, Suzanne Summers, I'm like, at the end of the bench here. I'm like Gene Woodling. Steve Venditti just drove off the road. All right, go to Pine Tar Bar and Grill, 121 South Main Street in Fork and River, New Jersey. Go see my buddy Tommy, best sports bar. Go watch his shitty Steelers. He's pissed at me. Thinks the Steelers are great. I think they suck. But go to his bar. And he's got every television, every sporting event. If somebody's playing, lawn darts on their front yard, he's got he's got it on some TV. And also Lisa Ruane, 201-725-1251, therapist. Give her a shout. Help you out if you're in one of those moods. You need help. Want to talk things through. She does it all. Well, Dave, that's about it here at Shea.
All right.
So the Giants play the Commanders
Mm-hmm.
and the Scarlet McKnights. Now, here's another issue I have. We're going to be shooting beer league in a kitchen while Rutgers is playing Indiana. Now, here's the cool thing.
Jimmy, I need you more angry. Oh, you're about to get it.
Here's the cool thing. I'm actually top of the food chain on this one. Okay. So I may go guys, why don't we take a break? Say 12-3. Just slow it down. I think we're working too hard here. I already asked them. I'm like, do you have a TV in the basement that has Big Ten Network? So the odds on me not being well aware of the score of the Rutgers game.
Oh, this isn't your kitchen?
No. We were shooting in the director's kitchen. So on Saturday, if you're around Saturday, you want to swing.
Yeah, I got to be at the other gym.
Oh, that's right. You'll be there all day. Yeah, actually, and I need you're going to be doing taking pictures and videos and working with my buddy Greg. He's going to be taking some pictures too. We just need stuff to get. But yeah, so anyway, all right. Well, that'll do it here from the Omni. Thanks, Dave, for working from home today.
Yes, sir.
And that's it. I'll see you guys next week with a very special guest. Maybe we'll get Artie on next week.
There you go.
All right. I'll